Hi, I'm Nikki Snell, the founder of Pressloft, and welcome to this webinar all about getting ready for Christmas 2026. So every year, PR teams miss coverage opportunities due to three things. So bad timing, bad images, or bad press releases. So today I'm going to cover a Christmas timeline that journalists actually work to. We're going to look at what gets featured and what doesn't, what makes journalists scroll on by and what makes them download, and then an insight into a few trends shaping Christmas 2026 with the data behind them. So first of all, we'll start off talking about our data set, and we're really lucky to have a huge amount of data on media activity and their preferences. So we host and aggregate the images of 900 brands, both massive ones that you can see here, and also new, smaller brands as well, both in the UK and around the world. And we host about 190,000 of their high-res product images. So media use this search to curate products for their articles without having to email PR teams waiting for a response. And most of all, they can get images from all the brands they need to feature in one article in one place. So we're all about time saving for journalists. And we're used by a huge number of titles, some of which you can see here. So again, in the UK, through Europe and around the world, we get between 8 and 10,000 pieces of coverage a month for our clients. So all of this means we have a huge amount of data on media behavior. So we can see around 140,000 keyword searches by media each year, which indicates what topics and themes that they're looking for. We have 170,000 images downloaded by the press each year, so we know what makes the cut from those searches. And then ultimately, we know what actually lands in coverage. So we track around 90,000 product images that get into the press each year. So looking at Christmas timelines, we can see what journalists do month by month for Christmas article research. So first downloads generally always happen in April, and this year it was the 6th of April. Now, the volume may be really, really low, but the people that are doing this research are really top tier editors, stylists who are planning intricately, looking for palettes, looking for themes and trends, and looking for those hero products to feature. So those clients who are ready really early in April will be scooping up every last piece of top tier coverage that is being planned in that month that early. But all is not lost if you're not ready in April, because we can see from the numbers that the real surge happens in July. So you can see here, this peak, we've got two lines here. One is from 2024, the Christmas period and Christmas downloads, and the darker line is 2025. So both years we can see that that peak starts really surging and the Christmas searches and downloads happen in July. And then they move again all the way through to really November and drop down in December, as you can expect. So the peak last year was in October. The year before it was September. Now, the reason it's later is simply because there are more and more short lead titles, so onlines that are producing content much later. However, we've got this generic Christmas product download information, but each product category has its own nuances and own moments at Christmas. So one example here is for articles around tablescaping. So this one is table runners, tablescaping, all the items that you'll be putting on the table. So you can see the peak that happens in July, and that's for the long lead research. But we can see there's another peak here, and that's the largest time of downloads for tablescaping, and that's in November. And that's because articles around hosting Christmas lunch get published all the way through December online. And so the journalists are researching much later. And that's the same with crackers. So you can see in July, the long leads are looking for crackers to feature. And then again, that second surge in November. So this is because, again, those articles are being published later. So the lead time is much later in the year. Whereas if you look at decorating the home, those articles stop at the start of December. So the journalist is starting to work earlier on those. So again, you've got the same peak in July, but we're also seeing an earlier peak in September because they're doing their decorating articles no later than November. So all of this means that as PRs on Pressloft, you'll get this information, you'll get this data, and you can see exactly when to PR which products around the themes, around the trends, and around the data that we have. So we also see patterns in colors of products downloaded. So an example here is of red products. So through the year, they do well, but they really surge between July and November. obviously because red products are very popular at Christmas. And we can also see similar patterns and other colours in different times of years as well. So Christmas is always a good time to promote anything which is red, green or gold. And we have a new PR planner coming for our clients. So you'll get to see all of these trends, all of these nuances, and it's going to be mapped to your image library with lots of press release ideas and angles for you to get even more coverage. So that'll be coming soon. We're building it now and we'll let you know when that's launched. So overall, the perfect PR Christmas timeline looks like this. So ideally, you're going to be preparing your Christmas images in January, February, and March. You're going to be making those available to the press from April onwards, ideally uploading to Pressloft if you're a client. Then in May, June, and July, you're going to be preparing those images. You're going to be pushing those images out and doing press releases to the long lead titles in July when the downloads surge. So you absolutely have to be ready with your Christmas images from July onwards. 2/3 of all Christmas sourcing happens between July and October. So it's really make or break if you're ready in July. And then from September and October up to November, you're going to be pitching to short leads, so press releases, outreach, and again, getting those images ready and out to them. And then the final push happens November and December when there's lots and lots of last minute pitches and articles being written around hosting, around last minute gifts, so vouchers and last delivery times, and then moving on, obviously, to then New Year's celebrations. So now on to my favorite topic, which is all around imagery. So which images do journalists select for Christmas articles and which ones don't make the cut? So cutouts, the ones on a pure white background that you can see here, make up 60% of the gift guide coverage that you're going to be getting. But they have to be on a pure white background. And we've crunched the numbers of thousands of downloads, and those on a pure white background over any coloured backgrounds, as you can see here, will get an increase of up to 70% downloads. So it's absolutely worth investing in getting those cut out from the background to make sure that it's really easy for journalists to use. They may be brilliant for your e-com site with a coloured background, but just get them cut out to get extra coverage for those gift guides. Next up with cutouts, it's really important to make sure the product is very easy to understand. You can just eyeball it and you know what it is. So I've got two examples of brown scarves, really popular choice for gift guides. The one on the left could be a blanket, could be a throw because it's just folded up. But the one on the right is clearly in a neck shape. These types of product images get downloaded much more frequently than the ones which aren't identifiable. And next, this is one some people do miss, but they need to not be too heavily angled overhead. So two examples of candles. The one on the left is really like you're looking down in on it. These ones don't get picked up for mood boards because journalists like consistency around all of their images because the aesthetic's just much nicer. So just make sure that your product images are direct or near direct front-facing view. So the perfect cutout looks like these two lovely examples here. So really easy to understand visually, a front or near front on view with lovely lighting and a pure white background. So on the other side, what makes a good lifestyle image? And we can see here that 40% of the downloads that you're going to get for Christmas features are lifestyle images. So in situ, really beautifully shot like these ones here. Now, these are great for your brand aesthetic, really stunning for more storytelling. But what's really great from a PR perspective, that these ones get much bigger placements. So online, they'll get the top feature, the main headline hero image in an online article. Then maybe in print, they'll get a front cover or even a double page spread. So really, really worth investing in excellent quality styling and excellent quality photography. If they are not professionally shot and styled, they will not make the cut. Journalists need really top-notch photography to make their publications look really good, inspire their readers, and just simply look attractive. So I thought I'd do a teardown of the top performing lifestyle images from Christmas 2025 and give you the reasons as to why they performed so well. So first up was one of the top performers of the year, which was the Merry Merry Christmas 2025 collection shot. It's clearly professionally shot and styled. It's so beautifully laid out. It's in a realistic room setting. It's got natural lighting and it was on trend. So that color palette was really unique to last year. Paper decorations were really on trend as well. They were a well-known brand. So this one got very, very good pickup. Another really lovely one is, again, Lights of Fun do so well with their press photography. They know what they're doing when it comes to getting covered and getting selected. And this one's a great example of where they leave nice space for copy. And journalists absolutely love that, particularly in the top tiers. So do consider that space that you're leaving for editorial copy to be placed there. Now, another trick is that anything can look festive with really good styling and Christmas trees and wrap gifts. And so, two examples of very interiors products. So, paint on the left from Ali Sloan and brown tiles on the right from Original Style. Christmas tree, wrap gifts, and they will absolutely get Christmas coverage. Now, one other thing to mention about lifestyle imagery is it must be in a realistic context for PR. So, I've got an example of a stock image on the left-hand side, which is of a mug, clearly a Christmas mug because of how it's decorated, and that's placed in the snow. But this wouldn't go into editorial articles because it's just not in a realistic setting. You know, you wouldn't be popping your mug down there in the snow. What you're looking for is a realistic setting in a home environment for, say, interiors. And a great example of this is the Emma Bridgewater mug that you can see on the right-hand side. So another angle with lifestyles is whether they should have people or no people in them. And when it comes to fashion, absolutely, those model shots are really important. It's along the same lines of being in a realistic setting. They need to see clothes on people to see what they look like, how they hang, and that's what the journalists want because that's what the readers want to see as well. So model shots in fashion, absolutely essential. If you sell pet products, definitely have the pets in them. These cute pets like these ones here will absolutely get picked up for editorial placements and they'll perform very well. But when it comes to interiors and particularly gifting around Christmas time, people in the product shots don't tend to get as much media preference and much media pickup. It's just one of those stylistic things. So really important to have the singular cutouts and a lifestyle, ideally in a festive setting, but without people in them to get the maximum press coverage. And then one last thing I wanted to say, just generally about lifestyle imagery, but also about collaborations. Great collaborations like this one here from Mary Mary and Liberty perform really well with the press. It's something very trendy at the moment. It's something that gets huge media pickup, and make sure that if you're doing it, invest in really good quality lifestyles for those collaborations and do a press release, get them out there as widely as possible. So, on to press releases. So, what makes a great Christmas press release? Now, I've got a podcast and interview lots of journalists, and they all get inundated with press releases. Some get 200, 300 a day, some get up to 800 press releases a day. So, it's incredibly competitive, and clarity and relevance to that journalist is absolutely essential. And one of the ways you can make it really relevant and really clear is by using hooks and themes relevant to what that journalist is going to be covering at the moment. So in Christmas time, they're going to be doing gift guides, they're going to be doing Christmas fashion trends, they're going to be writing about entertaining and hosting. Make sure these hooks and themes are included in the subject heading. So along that clarity theme, it's really important not to do plays on words. And two examples are all that glitters this Christmas. So the journalist will not know by glancing at that subject heading if it's a skirt or if it's a bauble. And similarly, gifts for festive cheer. Is it a drink set or is it a cocktail glass? You wouldn't know from looking at it, and therefore they will just scroll on looking at all those other 800 press releases. So I've given you a sort of a formula and a format for good subject lines to give really good clarity to the journalist and increase those open rates. So first of all, if it's new or if it's a new launch, then make sure the word new or new launch are in the title so they absolutely know it's a brand new item. Make sure the product type is in there, so a planter or a pair of earrings. And make sure the word Christmas, it sounds really obvious, but Christmas or festive is in there. So again, they know it's going to be relevant for any Christmas articles they're working on. And then the last bit is the segment or the hook. So this is a gift guide segment, so gifts for her or gifts for him, or it's if they're doing hosting, make sure it's about hosting in there. So some examples are new candles for Christmas entertaining, or new earrings for Christmas parties, notebooks for Christmas gifts for teens. All of those are instantly understandable to the journalist. So they're going to get a greater open rate and a greater coverage rate for you or your clients. And I've got a couple of downloads. So first one is the gift guide segment. So we've done, I think it's about 100 different gift guide segments. So gifts for him, gifts for her, gifts for teachers. And all of these are really great as press release angles over Christmas. So again, increasing that open and coverage rate. And we'll make that available below the video here. Now, in terms of length of the subject heading, keep it under 8 words if you can. Now, the only caveat to that is if you're a large high street brand, also add in your brand name so you can have a few extra words there, because that will get a greater click and open rate. If you're not a big brand, don't worry, but just save the word count, keep it more clear and sharper on the topic so the journalist knows what to focus on. So we've got a Christmas press release title generator as well, and we've got those Christmas gift guide segments, all to help you structure really nice, clear press release titles that will get you higher opens. So now on to our Christmas trends, and these make a really good set of hooks for Christmas PR. These are trends that we've researched and predicted will be very big topics, hot topics for journalists in 2026. They cover decor, they cover fashion and gifting trends. Now we're doing a really big webinar on the 14th of May where we'll be releasing our report, but I've just got a sneaky peek of a couple now of the big hitters that I'd share with you today. So first of all, brooches. We did call this out last year, but they've taken a different turn this year. They're very obviously ornamental, they're decorative, and often they're styled together now. That's what we're seeing this year, like these lovely examples here. They might be styled in the home, on table lamps, or they might be on caps or on ties. Some really lovely creative examples are seen here. They can be vintage, they can be new, and they can sit side by side, old and new. So this is a really hot topic. If you've got anything, if you sell any brooches, make sure they're photographed together to get extra media coverage this year. Now, another really big topic, again, has been growing over the past few years, and it's going to be even bigger this year, is Sober Curious Christmas. So anything around mocktails, entertaining where drinks aren't the focus, teas, craft evenings, self-care gifts, all of these will really make great positioning around this sober Christmas concept. And then the last one, more of a decor theme here, Into the Woods. So very natural, very loose, softer design here that you can see in the interior decor around Christmas. So we've got dried botanicals, bark, sculptural branches. So it's not very polished this year. And that's one of the decor themes that we've identified. So again, if you've got any products that fit with that, so candles, style it around this Into the Woods concept and you will get extra press coverage from it. So as I said, the Christmas Trends Report will be live on Pressloft on the 14th of May. So you can watch and you can download the report, and that's at pressloft.com/app/videos. You can also sign up for free trend alerts. We're constantly pushing them out. We do around 2 a day at the moment, and you can get access to those to know exactly what the journalists are working on at pressloft.com/app/trends. So what's next? If you are on Pressloft, add your images to the library as soon as you get them and start sending out your press releases really in earnest from July. You can download these templates below the video here. And if you aren't a client already, you can kickstart your press coverage and give us a try with a 60-day trial, be it agency with multiple clients or an in-house brand at pressloft.com. So hopefully that was useful and you got lots of tips around how to make your Christmas 2026 really successful. Any questions, please email us at info@pressloft.com and give me a follow on LinkedIn at Nikki Snell.